Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fortnightly Frontier, this small little podcast where we talk about the upcoming super mega space game Star Citizen and its single-player, story-driven counterpart, Squadron 42. I am Darianator, and I am joined by my good friend, Dr. No, wait, yeah, just let's go with it. Yeah, Dr. Meyer of Test.
Full disclaimer, not a doctor.
Not a doctor. Where the hell did that come from? So, what's with the avocado?
What's with the avocado? Well, I could tell you, but then
they would shoot you.
Then they would have to kill me. It's like a bit of a spin on that. Yes, I could tell you, but then they'll have to kill me. Yes,
quite an incentive not to speak.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Nothing's much has changed ever since the previous episode. 2.3.1 is still the live version. However, 2.4 is in the works, isn't it not?
It is in the works. Yes, it is actually in early PTU underneath a little blanket called an NDA. So they have selected about 600 or so people to go in and be the first. Excuse me, man, that monster. Be the first few people to get in there and test all the features and make sure that things are okay before they get released to the general public. There is a reason for that.
Yeah. Yes. And there was a bit of a leak as well, I think.
A bit of a leak? The only
as
leak...
to, not the actual 2.4, but to the patch notes of 2.4.
Oh, yes. The only leak that I have heard of pertaining to the avocado thing is are the patch notes. Which patch notes went through? Was it just A and B?
I have no idea. I don't think it was even mentioned, but it's just the features, not actual fixes that have gone in. So we got, shopping and basically clothes.
Yes.
And I don't really remember what else. But yeah, the avocado thing is because the avocati, as they are called, have been calling themselves the avocados.
Yes, the evocati, avocados, potato, But yeah, so there are a lot of features coming out with this new expansion, with this latest build of the game.
With this new DLC, eh?
With this new DLC content comes premium stuff, premium stuff. Season pass holders only. But, in low-key...
Colony owners and up. Colony owners and up.
Yes, indeed. But the changes from 2.3 to 2.4 are meant to be that as big, basically, in terms of the framework and internal structure of the game, as the jump was from 1.0 and to 2. And that jump was phenomenal. From 1.0 to 2, if we have a bit of a retrospective here, what did that give us? It gave us the new flight model. It gave us Crusader with the missions on Crusader. What else did it give us?
Lots of ships.
Ships and stuff as well came out gradually in 2.0 as well. But it gave us quantum travel. Yeah, that's a huge one. And also local physics grids. Yes. So all that came out with the jump from 1.0 to 2. And now they're saying the jump from 2.3.1 is going to be as big as that jump in terms of, to be honest with you, from what has been leaked in the patch notes, I would say so. I would say most definitely so. And you guys are, you non-avocados out there, you less than green folk, are in for a treat. Really, you are.
Sweet. Looking forward to that a lot. Yeah, because, persistence is one of the things.
Persistence,
First, little kinds of persistence and clothes and airlocks that actually kill you.
Indeed.
If you go out in your civilian clothes.
Quite violently, actually.
Quite violently.
Yes. Wait, did I just...
Well, if they're going for fidelity and realism, violence is to be expected. I mean, if you just throw somebody out of an airlock, it's not going to be pretty.
No, it's a very hard... if you look... Yeah, it's a hard vacuum, I believe, if you look at the bulkhead. Is it called a bulkhead? The front of the either way, it says warning, hard vacuum, and it's a very hard vacuum. You know, it works.
It'll hurt. Yeah, that's why it's hard.
Shut up. Yeah.
Can't wait for it. Just wondering how to get into this PTU thing.
Well, they have mentioned that they will be thinking about increasing the number of people coming into the PTU build. Now, I'm not sure if that means that that's going to be the end of the avocado part of the PTU, or I mean, because I doubt they're going to kind of like get more people to send in their credentials, their everything that's required of you to get into the Evocati test flight thing. I think that it'll just be expanded into the PTU as it is and has been in the past, you know. So like, you know, people who have put enough time and hours into both the issue council and gameplay in general will just you know, get an invite as they always have been. I cannot wait for that because that would mean that I'd be able to stream it. And there's a lot of stuff that I want to do in that game that even though like I'm in it, I'm an avocado and I've been doing some testing myself. There's a lot in that I've kind of tried to refrain myself from doing because I want to spend so much time doing it when it comes out live because it is
for the first time as well.
Exactly. It is just so fresh.
So fresh and so clean.
So fresh and so clean. Yep. Yes, indeed.
Yes, but until that happens, there's really not much we can talk about in 2.4. I would, you know, I have a wish list.
What is your wish list? I mean, like, this is good for me because I can be like, that's in it, that's not in it. Well, in here, not out here.
Yeah, I was gonna say the new use system.
The new use system. Okay.
Yeah, and what else?
This is my smug look.
This is your smug look, yeah, and I would ram an avocado down your face so hard right now. Right now, actually, the only thing that comes to mind is the new use system.
Okay.
Of the major changes, I mean. But the new use system I think is going to come with the new item port system, and is Ghost still a thing?
Is Ghost?
Yeah.
What do you mean by is Ghost?
That the framework that kind of dictates what can be operated on a ship, for instance. You know, the huge, expensive if-else engine, you know, when you try to operate a door, it would first check its state, and then whether you have credentials, and whether the whole intelligence behind interaction.
Okay.
That was called Ghost. Is that still in, or has it been completely revamped to be part of the new item port system? You have no idea, or you do have an idea. And I think we should stop talking about it because that is the most punchable face I've seen in quite a while. Right, but actually, we wanted to talk about something else because we really can't talk about 2.4, even though we have been talking about it for the past 10 minutes.
I mean, like, you know, it's still in the realm of space games, though. But yeah, we have been playing a lot of Doom, which came out 2 days ago.
Yeah, Doom. You've been streaming it. I've been playing it.
Yes. Well,
just
I mean,
on my
it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Well, I just wanted to say that you've been streaming it. I haven't.
Ah, fair enough. I mean,
yeah. As far as combat goes, I'm really liking it.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it took a while for me to get into it because I was like, oh, well, this animation is played before. Oh, well, this one's played before. But I mean, like, you can have you have the power to change that anyway, don't you? Like, by approaching an enemy which is staggered, you can say, okay, I want to do a front one, I want to do a side one.
The glory kills.
Yes, the glory kills, exactly. The glory kills. Yes.
The glory kills.
Yes.
Those are quite good. But I was not really talking about that. I'm just talking about the actual general weapon play and things, because it is a very arcade first-person shooter, and it's a very old school sort of thing. Yeah, and it's a completely different thing to what CIG has in plan for Star Citizen and Squadron 42. So I was thinking that we could talk about the differences between the two.
Definitely. I mean, like,
both are going to be quite enjoyable, aren't they?
Yes. You mean one is and one is going to be?
Yes. Semantics. Yeah. Because it's a very old school thing. It's very fast paced. I was gonna say it's very for the impatient sort of thing. When you push a button, the thing that you want it to happen has to happen now.
Yeah.
Immediately. So everything's very fast paced. The animations are super quick. They even removed the reloading. So, so that's on one side of it, and it's still a very enjoyable game. And then you have Star Citizen, which is going to be as realistic as is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Star Citizen, they've said that it's going to be like, whatchamacallit? It's going to be more along the lines
Arma.
Yes, Arma, as opposed to being something like Halo or something like that.
Or Doom, yeah.
Or Doom. And Doom itself kind of like calls a lot from, the old Doom games, but most specifically things like Quake. If you play the online multiplayer, it's a very Quake-esque game. You run around, you get people. I don't think that's going to be what's going to be in store for Star Citizen at all.
Yeah, maybe in Star Marine.
In Star Marine, perhaps, maybe, but not in the same degree.
Still not as intense. No.
No, by a long shot.
I think there might not even be a free for all in Star Marine. It's all going to be team based.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, in Star Marine, perhaps maybe they'll put a free for all for the sake of free for all.
Just for the sake of it, yeah. But when that translates into Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, I don't think that we'll see a lot of free for all there. It'll be most of it is going to be team play.
Yeah.
Or PvE. So you're a single person against everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. And speaking of Star Marine and thinking about what's gonna be in it, what else is there? I mean, like, what features are remaining for Star Marine do you think before
other than polish? Because it needs a lot of polish.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say maps. Several maps.
Gold Horizon is going to
finished.
Is the map that they've been
probably
working
finished.
On. And I think Gold Horizon has been finished when those guys from Ilphonic was still working on it. It was done then. And
even Emra has been doing several lighting passes on it. So yeah, it's been definitely waiting for a release.
Yes, it's been done, and it's really been waiting on whatchamacallit now. It's just been waiting on earlier on this last year. They they split the game into the FPS version part of the game and the rest of the game, yeah. And Ilphonic was working on one part, and then the rest of the guys working on another. Thing is, they grew so far apart in such a short time, they couldn't just port things over. And that's why we had this whole issue where there is no, Star Marine yet. I mean, quote unquote, if you want Star Marine, go to Port Korea. That's pretty much where we're at the moment. Save for the...
Yeah, but you have no matchmaking, you have no lobbies, and you still have to contend with the netcode of the entire server dragging you down.
That's true. And yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this before, but it wasn't really the most desirable response from Chris Roberts saying that, if you want Star Marine, go to Korea, because it's not just we want the guns, it's we want the game modes that will help kind of encompass and kind of the word encompass is the one I was looking for. To kind of package everything.
Yeah.
In a way
just like you have Arena Commander for dogfighting, you would want...
Exactly. I mean, they could really... But the reason why they don't want to just package it as an unfinished product is because if they did that, then FPS is a very, very, very kind of serious genre. And even though to us it'll be kind of oh yeah, a new test bed for FPS, I mean, to the media it's going to be Star Citizen now has FPS, and people will say, oh, but the FPS is broken, oh, but there's a grenade in my ass and it hasn't exploded yet, they will look for the most negative things.
So even though it's an alpha, they want to get away from it because yeah, I agree. The media hype about Star Citizen has been on the rise with every update. So they, even though it's an alpha, they do need to get rid of a lot of the bad things. However, one thing they could have gotten rid of, just to cement the idea that we'll never ever see Star Marine, is the option, the logo in Electronic Access that says Star Marine.
I believe that logo there is kind of like the promise, if you know what I mean. I mean, there was one PTU where the logo actually worked. You could click onto it and go into a new screen, and there's actually in the game there is actually interface and stuff for Star Marine that you can go into. You can change your loadouts. You can see different kits for the different classes and stuff, but matchmaking doesn't work. And that's where in the game itself, in terms of files and stuff, that's where we're at. And so it's still very much in the pipeline. It's just that they're just not quite there yet.
And not quite there.
Not quite there. Not quite there. It's just not quite there.
Yeah, but it hasn't been quite there for months now. I would like to see, playing Doom has really cemented the idea that I've been missing a good FPS for a while. And while, like you said, there is Port Korea and Star Citizen, it's really unplayable at the super cinematic 10 to 15 frames per second as you so often get.
Super cinema. There's so much cinema, though, in those frames. So much cinema. Yeah. It's great, though.
Kind of. Well, something else I wanted to talk about is the weapons.
The weapons?
Weapons. When you compare Doom and what we have in Star Citizen right now, the Doom weapons are so much more satisfying to use.
Well, yes, but at the same time in Doom, you're playing the role of a super soldier. And, there's no such thing as bullet... Well, there is bullet spread, but it's not quite the same. I mean, expect with rifles and stuff with Star Citizen that, you're going to have a spread. Weapons are going to overheat. There's going to be like a little... deviation and stuff like that. It's gonna be a lot different from what you are experiencing in Doom. Expect firefighting not to be like expect it not to be satisfying unless you actually get the kill. It's not gonna be
the final result is the satisfying part, not the actual use of the weapons.
Exactly. Yes, it's the execution that will satisfy you with Star Citizen. And that's going to include things like the tension of actually getting into a fight, the desire to get out of the fight alive, because, with Star Citizen, it's not just like Doom where you die, you respawn, you fight, you die, you respawn, you fight, Valhalla style.
And there will be no glory kills that magically refill your health bar.
Yeah, with Star Citizen, you're going to expect something like, you get into a fight, and then there's going to be voice communication. You're going to be like, yo, you don't want to do this. So, you're going down, buddy. Give me your stuff. Stand and deliver. And then, there's going to be some talk. I feel that talking and comms is going to be a very big thing in the PU when it comes to fighting. Because you don't want to, if you can, you don't want these... Have you played DayZ, Darge?
No.
Well, with DayZ...
I'm annoyed with zombies.
Well, I mean...
The only zombies I can stand are the ones from Minecraft, and...
Yeah, I mean, DayZ... I haven't played DayZ in about a year now, but DayZ was never really about the zombies. It was about the player interactions with people, and that's kind of what made the game get those awards and stuff from the different people. It was the human element to that game, and it's that same human element that other games now are trying to really get. There is this new survival game set in Mars. I forget the name of it. Maybe somebody can remind me or tell us in the comments on YouTube. But basically, with that game, it's set on Mars, very much like Doom is. However, it's kind of like a survival game that's set on Mars where guns are kind of optional. I think there is about 20 days or so left of that game's Kickstarter. It's pretty new. It's still being Kickstarted.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and I forgot where I was going with that. Take a sip.
Big sip, yeah. I think you were going for that it's player interaction sort
Definitely,
of thing.
Yeah. So with that game, it's all about player interaction, and then like gunplay is secondary. There are no zombies, just the environment. Instead of zombies in that game, it's about, making sure you have enough oxygen in your tanks and stuff like that, But with DayZ, the zombies are kind of there and they set the mood, but it's about surviving, not starving, making sure you have the equipment and stuff to keep yourself alive in case you encounter a zombie. But then the most tense part of DayZ, when that game was, at its prime, was coming across another player and then trying to get yourself out of that situation, especially when you kind of see each other. You're going to have like two different scenarios when you see each other. Either you don't have that much gear, and so you Leroy Jenkins straight into his face with an axe and try and take him out. Or, like you both hide around corners and you start talking to each other. Now, bringing this back to Star Citizen, I feel like if you encounter somebody like, ship to ship, so not like FP, like in a station like Korea, but even, okay, let's move from ship to ship. Let's say we've encountered somebody in what we thought was a derelict ship, yes? And one person, we're both not really pirates. How do you trust that other person if you don't know about that person at all? You're gonna have to you're gonna have to talk it out, and that's gonna be tense,
right. Yeah, Yeah, Star Citizen is gonna be one of those games where guns are the final solution.
Exactly. Exactly. Because with Star Citizen and death comes Death of the Spaceman, which is like something that I don't want to experience very soon. And if I experience it, I want to experience it as early on as possible into my lifetime in the game. I want my first character to die so I can experience Death of the Spaceman, but I don't want to die 2 months after I've gotten all this stuff, all this reputation and stuff, I want to survive a fight or two, maybe have like a prosthetic arm and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. I want to be a cyborg with a prosthetic booty.
Old silicon butt.
Silicon butt? Yeah.
My butt's got microchips.
Maybe not silicon butt, yeah, but definitely an augmented booty.
An augmented booty. What kind of powers does an augmented booty have? Like rocket thrust?
Supersonic farts.
Supersonic farts. That is something. Wow. Okay. All right. I want a scanner in my booty. That scans for booty.
This scans for other booty.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, because you are a pirate and you're all about the booty.
Full disclosure that I'm not a pirate. I'm not. I don't plan on being a pirate in Star Citizen. If it happens, it happens. I'm gonna do whatever's fun, but I'm not going to be. If I'm gonna be a pirate, I'm not gonna be like a reaver and kind of like kill people and take their stuff. I'll be like, yo, dude, my ship's bigger than yours. Come on. I'm gonna be one of those guys.
I'm only gonna take half of what you have, or I can take everything. Your choice.
Your choice, buddy. Stand and deliver. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one as well.
Which one's that one?
That is the Strong Suffolk Ale. Look at that logo. It's magnificent.
Strong Suffolk Ale.
Right. But yes, considering guns are going to be the final solution in Star Citizen, having it be very satisfying, like it is in Doom, is not of the utmost importance.
Yes, as long as it works, and as long as it's not frustrating, that's all we can ask for, really.
As long as there's no auto, cover. Because I hate auto cover, and they were talking something about auto cover.
What do you mean by auto cover?
That as soon as you get to a coverable surface, your character will automatically lean against it.
Well, at the moment we have like kind of context sensitive like positioning of the guns and stuff like that. But
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But I don't want my character to automatically snap to cover and hide behind a wall. When I have my gun out.
The way things are set at the moment with the whole, like, when you're next to the thing, you move your gun and stuff like that. I feel like what would happen is that will just be a bit smarter, if you know what I mean. So that you come up to a chest-high wall and you hit crouch, it'll look like you've snapped to it. But in reality, all you're doing is like, in crouch yourself. You hit control, you look to your left, you start shooting, you hit control and you're back in cover,
Okay, that I could work with, but I'm really frustrated with games that will lock you to a surface,
Gears
and
of War style.
what?
Gears of War style.
Yeah, something like that. And then you actually have to push a specific button to get away from it, because if you get to the edge, and no matter what you do, you get stuck there, and
Gears of War style.
That's not
Yeah.
pleasurable. Yeah, and that's just one of the things that I would like them to avoid, just to make it not obnoxious.
Yeah. Was that also in Mass Effect? I forget. The clippy cover.
It wasn't automatic.
Okay.
You had to
press a button to get into it.
Yeah, you had to press the button to get into cover. Yeah, but the combat in Mass Effect was very cover based. Chest high walls everywhere. So
yeah. Speaking of chest high walls, I wonder if they're going to re-implement the whole. I mean, you may have seen the images from Fiendish Feather, but he went into the files and he picked he showed combat shields. Not actual physical shields, but they were deployable holographic shields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those might be in the game. I feel like they're still going to play a part in the game, especially in Star Marine when that comes out with the team-based stuff. We have the light, the medium, and the heavy, and I think either the light.
Yeah, you have deployable shields in Cubby Blast. To quote unquote buy. Yeah.
I've never seen them.
It's in the display right next to where the Vandal head is. You have the Joker holo decoy thing, and you have the shield, the deployable shield. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But I would really prefer not to have them use any sort of snapping cover, but so long as you're in position behind a object that can give you cover, your character will behave as if it's covered, but it won't be any sort of snapping.
No. I feel like being the game that it is, if they implemented that, the amount of vocality that will happen as a result.
Yeah, and they will remove it in the next patch.
Change it. Yeah, exactly. It's not like any of those other games, where it's this is staying like this. Shut up. This is this is this. No, we hate it. Oh, okay. How about they value input.
Yeah,
let's put it that way. Yeah.
So, yeah, and I hope the majority of the player base is on my side when it comes to this. So Star Citizen doesn't get the FPS. Well, that is one of the things that you would expect from an arcadey sort of first-person shooter.
Yeah,
Arma certainly doesn't have that, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
So yeah.
But yep. And what sort of pace do you expect from it?
Pacing FPS?
Yeah, very slow. Though.
Well, with Star Marine, I expect the pacing to be a bit faster. You're going in there, it's going to probably be team objective, team last man standing, that kind of thing. With
sort of maybe like CSGO or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, kind of. But maybe perhaps a bit slower, just given the more realistic nature of the combat. You have different kinds of armor and stuff anyway, but at the same time, if you get shot in the arm, you're gonna lose that arm if you don't, if you don't treat it fast enough. In the verse, though, you can expect at least gunplay to be a lot more protracted, almost armor style, not quite DayZ style. I mean, or even
why not?
In DayZ, I once had a firefight with a rock that lasted 2 hours.
What? You had a firefight with a rock?
I had a firefight with a rock that lasted 2 hours. I had a lot of... Okay, all right, so...
Let's go into this because...
let me spin you a yarn.
Yes. I'm going to just sit back here and enjoy this tale.
This the thing with games where when you die and where I'm just flicking a comb at you, with games where you have something to lose. When you die, your death is very weighted. When you die, you're gonna have to go back and get more stuff. You have to build yourself back up again. You don't want to die. Suddenly, the world is a scarier place. The game becomes a survival horror simply because you want to survive. You're horrified by the thought of death, right? Even without the zombies. Okay? So in DayZ, I'm walking around. I'm like, wow, this is the best playthrough I've ever had. I have so much loot. I have food for literal weeks, I'm not really carrying much weaponry with me, but, I'm going down the street, just surviving, doing survival things, What? And all of a sudden,
that's a nice theme song, by the way.
And like I go, what? And to me, like from the corner of my eye, I think I see somebody in like with a weapon and stuff like that, crouch behind a rock, and I'm like, hey, is there somebody there? Silence. Are you there? So I was also behind a rock, right? And this is a first-person server, so you can't just dupe third-person, look over the rock, and make sure that there's nobody there. So I'm like, I'm talking this rock down. I'm like, hey, buddy, you don't want to do this, by the way. Like, there's no reason to like. Then I'm like, start typing just in case, like, he doesn't have audio. I'm like, hey, buddy, and then I look around the rock. And I think maybe a bird flew or something like that, but I just panicked and I shot at the rock, I shot twice. I was like, hey, and this happened for literal like an hour and a half at the least. Until I decided to man up, like crawl around the other side of my rock, go around, and then go, God damn it.
It's a good thing you did that before you became a Twitch streamer.
I've had issues like that before, but like not against a rock, but real people as well. But that was that wasn't DayZ. That was Armor 3. That was one nasty rock.
Yeah, it was one nasty rock.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Do you expect that Star Citizen is going to display this sort of survival instinct where if you're somewhere in the wild,
most definitely,
everybody's going to think that they are for themselves and they will immediately be suspicious of everybody they encounter?
I feel like that's human nature. Unless you know somebody, they're alien to you. There's always going to be this us versus them mentality. Especially in a game where you have organizations and you have, people where, your buddy, and then other people, who like, you couldn't really care less if they lived or died, If you meet somebody, you're going to think to yourself, first of all, okay, I have all these valuables in my hull. I don't know this person from Adam. It would probably be safest to disable them than leave, I mean, like, if you're in UEE space and it's monitored, as it currently is right now in the alpha in 2.3.1, if you're in monitored space, anything you do is recorded and Port Olisar knows of your deeds. And so if you meet somebody in the verse, in that kind of, like a situation, then you're going to be more, I guess, at ease. But if you meet somebody in unmonitored space, where anything goes, you're going to have, your butt's going to be clenching if you meet somebody else in deep space, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but now look at the chat.
Look at the chat. What a buffalo.
Yeah, what a buffalo. That was a good one. Don't quit. Yes, don't quit. But I was just thinking, why do these games have to devolve into the Wild West? Because we don't have such a situation right now. I mean, if you just go somewhere outside and you meet a random stranger, it's the first thought that comes into your head is not going to be, if I don't kill this guy, he's going to kill me.
Well, you see, that's because we have something here in the real world called the law and repercussions. In a video game, especially in DayZ, where there is no law enforcement, there are no repercussions for your deeds, save for this one time where I killed somebody and then he respawned in the same town, and then he was like, you killed me, I'm going to eat you! And I'm like, what? And he just chased me with a fork for an hour. In DayZ, things don't happen in minutes or seconds. It happens for at least half an hour. This guy chased me down the shore with a fork. I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you. In this time,
did you have a plate to defend yourself with?
No, I didn't even realize that you could eat people, dude. He chased me with a fork down the freaking, like there's a long major road going by the coast. He chased me for half an hour with his fork saying, you bastard, I trusted you. I gave you, he gave me all this stuff. And, you're asking, do people just go, I'm going to kill this guy? I killed that guy. Like he bent down to give me some food and I popped a shot in the back of his head, I only had that one bullet. I wanted his stuff. He had a nice duffel bag. Anyway, he chased me down the coast for half an hour, shouting expletives, all this kind of stuff. I was going, yo, dude, it's just a game. I'm sorry. Come on, man. And, he chased me. We were both starving as well in the game because, as time goes on, you start to die. We had a dialogue, dude. We had a dialogue. For this, I wish I streamed back then, dude. This would have been gold. This would have been YouTube Diamond. Anyway, we're talking. He's like, so where are you from, you bastard? I'm like, I'm from the UK. What about you? I'm from Bulgaria. I'll fucking kill you, though. By the time we reached the nearest town, we were best friends. He was like, yo, you know what? Let's kill that guy instead.
Well, I was just going to say that it was your fucking fault, man.
Yeah, it was my fault. But, it was amazing because by the time we reached out of town, we were best friends, and then we got killed by some other person. At the same time, it was amazing. It was a great experience. I wish I got his Twitch, his stream, his Steam name even, because I would have friended that guy.
Oh well, yeah. I really hope Star Citizen, the MMO, doesn't devolve into that sort of free for all.
In DayZ, it's different because there is nobody policing or governing your action. In Star Citizen, there'll be the UEE. They'll be making sure that crimes don't go unpunished. There'll also be organizations which will be keeping tabs on players. So as somebody in chat, Mr. Pixelfuzz, asks, will you trust somebody, would you trust a stranger in Star Citizen to carry him somewhere like a taxi or a driver? I feel like in UEE space, where that is going to be a legitimate profession, there'll be things called reputation and stuff like that in the game. You'll be able to look at the taxi drivers, his credentials. You'll be able to see how many successful taxi events he's had and stuff like that. You'd be able to say, okay, I trust this guy. This guy does this for his, his that is his Star Citizen.
I wonder if there'll be sort of an Uber of Star Citizen.
That would be amazing.
When you can look up people's reviews. Something that just popped into my head, the whole reputation sort of thing is going to be dependent whether on the space where things happen is monitored.
Yes.
But there is also going to be a different kind of monitoring.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are streaming and recording.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, and, unless you have evidence in-game that somebody wronged you, killed you, stole your stuff, you wouldn't really be able to issue a bounty on their head and stuff like that. I'm just assuming that if you want to issue a bounty, you need to have hard evidence that they did something wrong.
Yeah.
But if they do it in an unmonitored space, however you were recording at the time, could you use your video recording as proof?
Well, you see, I mean, it depends. You would be able to use a recording as proof, sure, to show to some bigger council, some group of citizens who take that kind of thing seriously, and they'll put your name, their name into a list. But at the same time, if you're a streamer, larger than me, a big name streamer, unless you're gonna kill the guy, for the props of killing, I'm the guy who killed Bad News Baron, they'll see your name and they'll be like, you know what? That's Captain Richard. I'm gonna kill him because there's 300 people watching. I'm not gonna get away with that. Of course, you'll be able to hide your name tag and stuff like that in the future, but at the same time,
of course,
if you're a pirate,
there's also
do that.
it'd be the same as somebody going up to Justin Bieber and shooting him in the head. None of them saying that people do that. Yes, do that, but if a person like Bad News Baron or Captain Richard are actually streaming and you see their name in the MMO and if it's somebody you recognize, a celebrity, even though it's some sort of meta celebrity, not exactly a celebrity in Star Citizen universe. That's a whole sort of kind of meta sort of gameplay and levels of reputation.
I can imagine somebody like Baron setting a bounty on somebody's head, saying, Baron, you know what? We're going to set a bounty on Captain Richard's head. The first person that gets Captain Richard's head to me on a plate is going to get 100,000 UEC. How about that? And then everybody yeah, let's go kill Captain Richard, that kind of thing. But
that is the first vestiges of organized crime.
For real. Exactly.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff is coming. We're talking about emergent gameplay even before we have the actual capacity for such gameplay.
Well, I mean, come on, the Big Benny Summit is emergent gameplay, man. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine that there's going to be a huge crime lord who calls himself
Big Benny. Oh my God, man. You're writing this stuff, man. This is amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's like Pizza the Hut in Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Big Benny, Star Citizen. And then it's going to be, we'll discover that the Food Network is just a front
for Big Benny.
For Big Benny, it's one and the same. It's not based on it. It's
he is one and the same, like Mom from freaking Futurama.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've reached the limit of our viewers' patience at this point.
Fair enough.
So let's wrap it up. So, do you believe? Well, before we go, do you believe that 2.4 is going to reach public PTU before the next episode?
What? So today is the 15th.
It is the 15th
yes,
of May.
At the time of recording. It'll be the 18th when we come out onto YouTube. I feel that... So wait, is your question...
Will we be able to talk about 2.4 on the show? That's what I'm talking about.
I feel like just going on to OBS now and enlarging that avocado until it kind of like takes over the screen. Because I'm like, no. I feel like it might do if this week of testing is successful, and if it's been as successful as it has been in the past week, I mean that's as much as I can say. I haven't really divulged any information. If it goes,
no, you've been a very good boy.
If it goes as well and as fast as it has been in the past week, I feel like it not this Monday coming, but the Monday after this goes live onto YouTube might be a good just all things considered, might be a good kind of
a fair bet,
for at least expanding the PTU to the larger player base, not to release it to live, definitely.
Yeah, but basically just release the NDA and
to to stress the servers more and that kind of thing. But yeah, definitely. I feel like by that time, if not next week, if not tomorrow, if not Monday, to expand it to a larger player base,
Yes, and as we've proven many, many times before with our timing, in between the recording of this episode and the release, something major is going to happen that really negates everything that we've been talking about.
That's pretty much tradition here. It's pretty much tradition. It happens every single time. It does. It really does.
Just about every single time. Yeah. Anyway, I have been Darionator. This has been...
Meyer.
Just wait. I forget. That has been my good friend Meyer, Dr. Meyer of Test. OBGYN. And this has been Fortnightly Frontier, and we will see you in the verse.